and welcome to Bharat News on Bharat TV. I'm Deepika Zucchi, and here are tonight's top stories. In breaking news, President-elect Donald Trump threatens a 100% tariff on BRICS nations in a push for stronger trade commitments. Meanwhile, in local news, Kash Patel emerges as Trump's pick for FBI director. TikTok sparks a divide among Trump's cabinet over a potential ban, and the Biden administration faces challenges balancing its Ukraine and Gaza strategies as its term ends. Concerns rise among DACA recipients about deportation fears under the incoming administration. And in news from India, Prime Minister Modi calls on police forces to harness artificial intelligence to combat cybercrime, while BJP finalizes Devendra Fadnavis for Maharashtra Chief Minister. Gautam Adani addresses US allegations for the first time, and Indian passengers endure a 13-hour ordeal at Kuwait airport without assistance. And international news, Ukraine's Zelensky responds to President-elect Trump's remarks on scaling back US support for Ukraine as the war with Russia intensifies. And now for the news in detail. Trump threatens 100% tariffs on BRICS nations. President-elect Donald Trump has issued a stark warning to BRICS nations, threatening 100% tariffs on their exports to the US if they move to undermine the dominance of the US dollar. The BRICS alliance, which includes Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and other emerging economies, has been pushing for de-dollarization, seeking alternatives to the dollar in global trade. Trump declared on Truth Social that the US requires a commitment from these countries to avoid creating or supporting a new currency to challenge the dollar's supremacy. They will face 100% tariffs and should say goodbye to selling into the US economy, he stated. The US dollar, which accounts for 58% of global foreign exchange reserves, remains dominant, though BRICS' growing GDP share and Russia's call for an alternative payment system have fueled debates about its long-term position. Experts, however, suggest the dollar's global reserve currency status is secure in the near term. This tariff threat follows Trump's recent moves to pressure Mexico and Canada with tariffs over immigration issues, highlighting his broader strategy to assert U.S. economic interests on the global stage. Kash Patel named FBI director. Kash Patel, a trusted ally of President-elect Trump, has been selected to lead the FBI, sparking a wave of controversy. Known for his involvement in scrutinizing the FBI's Russia investigation during Trump's first term, Patel has pledged to restructure the agency to focus on efficiency and accountability. Critics, however, worry that his appointment could politicize the FBI, potentially eroding public trust. Patel's supporters argue that his leadership will address long-standing concerns about partisanship and overreach within the bureau. Civil liberties groups have raised alarms about his ability to maintain impartiality in overseeing federal investigations. As Patel prepares to assume his role, the FBI is bracing for significant operational changes with potential shakeups in leadership and policy expected early next year. TikTok sparks rift in Trump's cabinet. TikTok remains at the center of a heated debate among Trump's incoming cabinet members, with deep divisions over the app's future in the United States. National security officials argue for an outright ban, citing concerns over data privacy and the app's alleged ties to the Chinese government. Others, however, caution against the economic consequences of such a move, particularly for small businesses and content creators who rely on the platform. President-elect Trump has reiterated his commitment to addressing security risks, but faces logistical and legal challenges to implementing a ban. Meanwhile, TikTok's parent company ByteDance has signaled willingness to negotiate. even proposing enhanced transparency measures to address US concerns. The final decision could set a precedent for regulating foreign-owned digital platforms in the United States. Biden team pushes for foreign policy legacy. With time running out, the Biden administration is prioritizing foreign policy achievements to cement its legacy. Efforts to secure a lasting ceasefire in Gaza and extend aid to Ukraine are at the forefront, but challenges persist. Congressional gridlock and dwindling bipartisan support for foreign aid have complicated Biden's agenda. Analysts suggest that the administration is racing to finalize agreements that could outlast the transition to the Trump presidency. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has emphasized the importance of continuity in U.S. commitments, particularly in maintaining stability in Eastern Europe and the Middle East. However, critics argue that the administration's late-stage diplomacy may struggle to gain traction in the long term. DACA recipients fear the worst under Trump. DACA recipients, also known as Dreamers, are grappling with uncertainty as President-elect Trump prepares to tighten immigration policies. With protections granted under the Obama administration at risk of being rescinded, nearly 600,000 individuals could face deportation. Advocacy groups are urging Congress to pass permanent protections before the new administration takes office, but progress has been slow. The Trump team has signaled a return to stricter enforcement measures, sparking anxiety within immigrant communities. The looming threat of mass deportations has reignited calls for comprehensive immigration reform. And in news from India, Modi calls for AI to combat cybercrime. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has urged police forces to adopt artificial intelligence tools to address the rising threat of cybercrime and digital fraud. Speaking at a national conference of police chiefs, Modi emphasized the need for real-time data analysis and predictive policing to tackle sophisticated criminal networks. The initiative is part of India's broader push toward digital governance, with AI being a cornerstone of its cybersecurity strategy. Fadnavis to lead Maharashtra government. The BJP has officially announced Devendra Fadnavis as its chief ministerial candidate for Maharashtra. The decision comes after weeks of speculation and is expected to solidify the party's leadership in the state. Fadnavis, known for his administrative acumen, previously served as chief minister and is credited with initiating major infrastructure projects. Adani responds to US allegations. Indian industrialist Gautam Adani has addressed allegations from a US-based research group accusing his conglomerate of improper financial dealings. In a detailed statement, Adani dismissed the claims as unfounded and politically motivated, asserting that his company adheres to the highest global compliance standards. The controversy has impacted Adani Group's shares, with some losses in market value since the report's release. Adani further emphasized his conglomerate's commitment to transparency, highlighting its significant role in India's infrastructure development. The group has initiated legal proceedings against the accusers, aiming to safeguard its reputation and shareholder interests. Indian passengers stranded in Kuwait. Indian passengers endured a 13-hour ordeal at Kuwait International Airport after their flight was delayed without explanation. Many travelers, including laborers returning home, were left without food, water, or updates from airline or airport authorities. Reports of passengers fainting due to dehydration sparked outrage among their families and community leaders. India's Ministry of External Affairs has contacted Kuwait officials to address the incident and ensure better support for expatriates in emergencies. The airline has yet to explain the delay or the lack of assistance, prompting calls for accountability and improved treatment of Indian workers in the Gulf. And in international news, Ukrainian President Zelensky responds to Trump's remarks on Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky addressed President-elect Donald Trump's suggestion of scaling back U.S. support, emphasizing the importance of American aid in Ukraine's fight against Russian aggression. Zelensky called for continued military assistance and urged European allies to bolster their contributions. Trump's comments have sparked global concern, with fears they could weaken Ukraine's position and embolden Russia. The Kremlin welcomed the remarks while Zelensky reaffirmed his confidence in bipartisan U.S. support and vowed to rally international solidarity to sustain Ukraine's defense. And that's all for News Tonight. Stay informed by visiting our website and following us on social media. I'm Deepika Zucchi, and we will see you next time on Bharat News.